Hey everyone, RogueGold here. Welcome back to The Division 2. Today we saw the release of Classified Assignment number 2 for Year 8 Season 1, titled Capital Globe Anomaly. If you happen to not know, these are bite-sized puzzle-based missions with lore and exclusive rewards to collect. And so, in this video, I'm going to be walking you through this latest mission, explaining the puzzles at each step, how to complete it, and where to find each hidden collectible. Before we jump in, as a reminder, Classified Assignments are paid content add-ons. If you wish to unlock and play this, you either will need to have bought the Rise Up Season Pass bundle, in which this is included, or you can purchase it individually from the Assignments tab within the in-game store. I did also want to underscore that while mission puzzles and secrets themselves will be shown and spoiled within this video, the actual contents of the lore drops that we pick up will not be, so you can experience and enjoy those on your own. But with that said, we'll get right to it. If you enjoyed this one, you want to see more content like it from me in the future, then be sure to subscribe. A major shout out and thank you to our channel members as always. I could not do what I do as regularly as I do without your support, so thank you so much for everything. With all that down, however, let's dive in. Much like our last classified assignment guide, which I will link down below in case you need it, I wanted to kick this off by showing you the 2 highlight rewards from this mission in case that influences your decision on whether or not this content is worth purchasing. Firstly, we have the headline grabber. This is a named M60 with perfect strained. Now, much like the archivist from the other classified assignment, the devs did say that these will eventually be obtainable from different sources. However, at this time, this is an exclusive item to this classified assignment. And then in addition, we have the Mothman, which is a backpack trophy. This item is fully exclusive to this mission. With those down, let's now move on to the mission guide itself. Okay, so as far as finding this classified assignment, remember these are hidden locations to begin. I did want to point out that as of today's update, which delivered this mission, all classified assignments have now been moved to a dedicated assignments map tab. This shows you the year 1 collection of missions as well as these new year 8 ones. So if you're worried that somehow your content has disappeared, it has not, it's just been moved here. But the new Capital Globe Anomaly assignment is located in the northwestern corner of downtown East, up above the Fallen Cranes control point. Off of the main street, just 1 block north of the control point, you will find this subway station. There's blue paint splattered around the sidewalk. You just want to head down and you'll find the mission entrance here. So once you begin the mission, you'll soon find yourself in this first large main room. You're going to want to take out all hostiles present, then head up to the right from the main area, and this is where you will find our first collectible comm. At this point, the mission objective will state that you need to find the JTF generator. For that, you're going to want to head upstairs and you should see this marked yellow generator. It then says that you need to find 3 missing generator parts. Now, it's worth noting that after a small bit of searching, the game will just highlight these for you on screen. I'm not sure why. Classified assignments are historically meant to lean into the exploration and puzzle side of things, but oh well. So, as you search, enemies will spawn in, take them out as needed. But for one of these hidden parts, you're going to need to stand out on the large sky bridge, catwalk, whatever you would call this, and look across into the window. You want to shoot the yellow box. This then unlocks that door to find the first part. If you head right downstairs after that, the next part is out in the open here. And then the final part is back upstairs near this conference room. Now, when you come across this one, you will find an infected civilian locked within the room. The game kind of makes it seem like you need to solve another puzzle here to let her out, but actually, it is just the next main objective, so put a pin in that for a moment. Once all 3 parts are claimed, you're going to want to return to and repair the main generator, after which you can follow the mission objective through these connector hallways to the next main room. Now, in here, you might come across stuff like an interactable generator, even the final loot room with the backpack trophy and echo. For now, don't mind those, we'll come back to them at the end. What you want to do is follow the marker to this panel. Now, it is within a toxic cloud, however, you have plenty of time to go in and hit it and get out before you die. After doing this, a bunch of enemies will spawn in, take them out. Do note that this room contains comm number 2 waiting to be collected. You're just going to want to head behind the big world clock wall on the 2nd floor, and it's here on this desk. So, once you're done with all of that, you will then be prompted to return to that hostage that we found earlier. You're going to want to proceed into a new section of these connector hallways, and if you turn left and then right up these stairs into the room, you can then speak to the hostage, shoot open the far door, and send her to the paramedics. Doing this will spawn in more enemies, but after they are defeated, before you continue on with the mission objective, be sure and return to the outside of that same conference room that we were just at. And if you look through this window, you can see inside the small podcast studio and shoot this yellow box. And if you go back around into the room, you can now open this door and collect comm number 3. So, those enemies that you just fought outside should have dropped you a print office access key. If you did not pick it up before, then be sure to go back and do so. You can then follow the mission marker back into the connector hallways, and that key opens up a new passageway taking you into the printing press. You'll find a number of enemies to fight here, but in addition, you will also see several shootable pipes on the ceiling above the main concourse. You're going to want to take all of those out. Doing that will then prompt you to disable the emergency shutoff mechanisms, but beware, as soon as you toggle the first one of these, a very short 30-second timer begins for you to go and grab all 3. So throw that quick step on. If you have one, be ready to sprint. The 2 different levers that need to be pulled are on elevated platforms on opposite sides of the room, whereas the final valve is down on the production floor below one of those levers. As you do all of this, enemies are going to be periodically spawning in, so just dispose of them as you're able to. At that point, the timer should be done, and eventually you want to make your way up to the primary control office here. In here you can press the panel to then disable the production operation. This will then spawn in the boss of the mission as well as plenty of enemies. Take them all out. Don't forget that the boss here drops the headline grabber named LMG, so don't forget to collect that before auto-deconstructing the loot pile. That is then the technical end of the mission, but as per usual, do not leave yet, as we've still got some things to go and collect. If you did not already, back up in that control room lies the 4th comm on the back wall, so be sure to grab that. Afterwards, though, you're then going to want to head back into the 2nd main encounter space, the one with all of the offices. This is where all of our final puzzling will take place. So, from the ground floor here, using the world clock wall as a reference, you're going to want to turn around and head down this hallway to the very last room on the far back wall. Inside, you'll find an interactable file cabinet, and opening it up reveals this storage room access code. With this, if you now return to the world clock wall, down below on the left is an access door that is now interactable. You punch the code in, and inside you can look beyond the debris to shoot the lock off of this door. If you then head back around into the connector hallway, the door is openable, and inside you will find our 5th and final comm, but also something called the server memory module. With this, you'll want to once again head back out into the World Clock Office's room. I don't know a better name for it. On the ground floor, back by the stairs, you will here find the server room. With that module collected, you will now be given a prompt to insert it here. And this then allows you to type on the keyboard at the desk. Doing so will pull up a graphic showing 3 different servers and their current statuses. This is the puzzle for the final loot room, which includes the backpack trophy and the echo. The funny thing is, I actually solved and completed this before I was able to fully understand if there was a pattern at play and how exactly you do it. So if there's any confusion after you watch this, we'll be sure and leave a pinned comment below once more information is available. But this is how the mechanics of it work. Repeatedly typing on the keyboard changes which server is currently online, A, B, or C. Doing this corresponds to labeled laptops that you'll find within conference suites A, B, and C within this office hall. What you'll find though is that some of these offices are filled with the toxic gas, and interacting with the laptop takes too long for you to claim them before you die. So, to avoid the gas, there is a generator here on the 2nd floor just at the top of the stairs. Pressing it swaps which office has ventilation turned on, which in turn clears the gas. So, what you're going to want to do is enable the correct server via the keyboard in the server room, then use the generator to clear that office of the gas, enter, use the laptop, and if done correctly, a blue screen should appear on the TV. Like I said, though, I completed this before I could figure out if there was any specific order to this, or if you just need to do all 3 in the correct way, and then you're done. Either way, the order that worked for me was C, A, B, in case you need to try and replicate. Suite C is upstairs right next to the generator, B is downstairs across from the server room, and Suite A is upstairs to the left of the stairs instead of heading right to get to the generator and room C. So, once again, after doing C, A, B, I returned to the server room to find that all of the servers were online in green, and a camera had appeared on the main screen showing me the final loot room. Once again, do let me know if there are any issues you run into with the order of these laptop interacts. The classified assignments earlier in the season did have a random order for each player for its final puzzle, but I'm not sure if that's the case here. But at least now you know the mechanics of the puzzle itself. So, once completed, you want to head back upstairs to the 2nd floor and overlook overlooking the World Clock Wall is the Archives Room, which is now openable, and be sure to claim the backpack trophy and Echo inside to mark off every mission collectible. I did want to quickly note before we close out that the mission states it has 6 collectibles instead of 5, so you might think you're missing one, but what it's actually doing is counting the Echo as the 6th, even though you cannot go in and play it back. So, not to worry, if you followed the guide, then you've gotten everything that there is to get. There you have it, everybody. That is your guide for Year 8 Classified Assignment number 2, Capital Globe Anomaly. I hope you enjoyed, and more importantly found this helpful. I don't know if I can say that I found this mission to be as exciting as the first. The environments were certainly cool, but the puzzles and lore weren't as compelling for me, personally, this time. Judging by that new assignments screen, though, it looks like we do have 8 total new assignments coming this year, so I'm definitely looking forward to see where we go next. At this point, love to get any and all thoughts you may have about this guide or this mission, and as always, any questions that still remain after watching through, leave those below and I'll do my best to clear anything up. That's going to do it for me on this one though. Thank you all so much for coming by and watching. Until I see you next, RogueGold. Ow. Oh! We just